The 2025 Australian Grand Prix at Phillip Island just dropped a bombshell that's shaking up the motoGP world. Francesco "Pecco" Bagnaia faced the bleakest weekend of his career, from a humiliating sprint race flop to a brutal crash in the main event, all spiced up by a fiery showdown with Marco Bezzecchi. This was the day Ducati crumbled big time. Buckle up as we dive into the untold story behind this crisis, plus predictions that'll have you on the edge for Malaysia. Ducati diehards, brace yourselves. But stick around, a flicker of hope glows through the chaos. Let's rewind to October 19th, 2025, round 19 of 22, at Phillip Island, the wildest track in MotoGP. Picture a straight blasting 320 km per h, the Siberia turn tearing through tyres, and gusty winds that can wobble a bike in a split second. The weather? Total chaos, sun, clouds, and that classic Aussie drizzle turning the asphalt slick as ice. For Ducati, this weekend was supposed to be a comeback story after the Mandalika meltdown, where Marc Marquez's shoulder injury sidelined the 8-time champ, leaving Pecco as the factory team's last shot. Michele Pirro jumped in as an emergency sub, but all eyes were on Bagnaia to hoist the red flag high. Spoiler alert, it all went sideways, and the Bezzecchi drama lit up the paddock. Before the action kicked off, Pecco was already drowning in pressure. Flashback to Motegi. He swept the sprint and main race, keeping his title dreams alive. But since the summer break, this season's been a slow burn nightmare. Only 61 points from 7 rounds, 3 0-point weekends in the last 4 races, and rumours of a GP25 curse buzzing around the paddock. The Desmosedici GP25, hyped as a beast with next-level aero and razor-sharp electronics, turned into Pecco's worst enemy. He's been venting non-stop, traction vanishes in slow corners, the front wheel gives out unbraking, and the chassis is a total headache. This situation is unacceptable, he growled post-race, his Italian fire flaring. On social media, fans got ruthless. Is Pecco cursed? Ducati's season is toast. One ex-post blew up with thousands of likes. Others threw shade, from podium king to Phillip Island clown. Yikes. But the real heat, the brewing beef with Bezzecchi, sparked since qualifying. Friday was a red flag from the jump. Pecco rolled out on the main GP25, but by the end of FP1, he was griping to his crew, pointing at a bike vibrating like crazy out of the final turn, like it was haunted. He switched to the backup in FP2, grinding out a 9th place finish, but trailing the leader by 0.4 seconds. Meanwhile, Marco Bezzecchi, a real dark horse for Aprilia, smashed the lap record, leading a 1-2 with Raul Fernandez. But the drama hit. In FP2, Pecco got accused of blocking Bezzecchi's hot lap at the last turn. He knew I was pushing, but stayed on the racing line. Not cool, Bezzecchi snapped to motorsport.com. X lit up. Pecco playing dirty? Versus Bezzecchi overreacting? The paddock heated up with Mandalika's memory, where Bezzecchi's move injured Marquez, adding fuel to the fire. Saturday, disaster piled on drama. Qualifying was a pressure cooker. Pecco barely scraped into Q2 in 9th, but copped a 3-grid penalty for the Bezzecchi clash. Stewards ruled he impeded his rival's lap, and Bezzecchi didn't hold back. He needs to watch it. This isn't the first time. Pecco fired back coolly. Wasn't on purpose, but he was aggressive in Mandalika too, right? That tension turned the sprint race into a war zone. Starting 14th, Pecco dropped to 12th, then tanked to 20th, dead last, only beating Pirro. The 13-lap sprint became Bezzecchi's show, winning by 3.149 seconds over Fernandez as Aprilia dominated. Pecco, a cringe-worthy 19th, 32.4 seconds back with a sluggish one. 31.7 lap time against Bezzecchi's blazing one, 27.4. Embarrassing, he said, ripping off his helmet, frustration all over his face. "The bike won't listen and this drama's not helping." X exploded. Pecco versus Bezzecchi, new Italian rivalry, #Ducati crumbling, trended worldwide with memes of Pecco hated by Aprilia going viral. Sunday's main race, a knockout punch that stunned MotoGP with the Pecco-Bezzecchi saga as the spicy twist. The 27-lap event, delayed an hour due to rain threats, kicked off under cloudy skies. Bezzecchi, hit with a double long lap penalty from Mandalika, clawed back to second, snagging third in the standings by just 8 points over Pecco. Raul Fernandez surged ahead with Aprilia Trackhouse, holding off Fabio Di Giannantonio for MotoGP's first win, sparking a wild US team party. Pedro Acosta rounded the podium for KTM, while Alex Marquez hung on in 6th despite a bad tyre call. Pecco stuck in midfield hell. Starting 14th, he climbed to 12th by lap 10, the backup bike feeling solid in dry conditions. But the Bezzecchi shadow loomed. On lap 8, they went wheel-to-wheel at Duhan Corner, with ex-fans claiming Pecco nearly took out Bezzecchi again. Bezzecchi, fresh off his penalty, rode hard, throwing Pecco off his game. "He was too close, like he was gunning for me," Pecco vented post-race, his irritation clear. The climax hit on lap 24, entering the fast Siberia complex. Pecco's front wheel gave out mid-corner. A spectacular highside sent him crashing into the gravel like a botched stunt. Luckily, no major injuries, just a bruised ego. He tried remounting but gave up, limping back to the garage with a blank stare. "Unbelievable," he told motoGP.com. "From P12 to gravel in a flash. The GP25 isn't consistent and Bezzecchi's pressure threw me off." Pirro finished 20th, data mission accomplished, but no miracles for the factory crew. The fallout? Brutal. Pecco's title hopes faded hard, now 4th in the standings, 92 points behind Alex Marquez. Bezzecchi's second place triggered Italian media panic. "Pecco versus Bezzecchi? Italian Civil War?" blared headlines, while Ducati's constructor ranking wobbled. Fans on X poured gas on it. "Bezzecchi's been messing with Pecco since Mandalika." Versus Pecco started it with that qualifying move. Gigi D'Alina called an emergency huddle in Bologna, promising aero tweaks for Sepang. "We're not throwing in the towel," he insisted, but the paddock smelled weakness. Rivals like Acosta, 5th, 41-point gap, and Fernandez, new star, 2nd in the race, are ready to strike. Fabio Quartararo from Yamaha jabbed, "Ducati's untouchable vibe, blown away by the wind." Phillip Island nails 2025's chaos. New stars rise. Fernandez's win hyped US fans. American invasion. Penalties crank the heat. Bezzecchi's drama adds spice. And a thinning grid from injuries. What's next for Pecco and Ducati? Malaysia at Sepang, October 25th, 27, will be the showdown. A hot track plays to the GP25's strengths, but one slip could bury podium hopes. Prediction: Pecco snags a top 5 if the weather holds, setting up an epic Valencia finale. But if the Bezzecchi drama and curse roll on, 2026 might see a new lineup. Bulega in, Bezzecchi out, Mandalika's vibes still linger.